Aduro released the financials and had a press release. So let's go over some numbers. As you can see, this is as of by May 31st. So that's where the fiscal year ended for Aduro. So they're not on a calendar yet, or at least not yet. And if you're looking at the balance sheet, it shows 2.8 million of cash at the end of May. But then there is more, because in the press release, the company stated that the company maintained a strong cash position, 2.8 million, as of May 31st, 2024, which is what I just showed you on the balance sheet. But then subsequent to May 31st, Aduro received proceeds of approximately 3.5 million from the closing of a non-brokered private placement. Remember, there was a private placement. And approximately 2 million came in from the exercise of options and warrants. So if you add these three, the cash position is over 8 million. And you know that they filed F1 to uplist to the U.S. exchange. And I believe that the raise is going to be up to 6 million. So if I add another 6 million to this, their cash will be at about 14 million. So they will be cashed up to build the next generation unit. Okay, let's continue. So that's on the balance sheet. We also see the property, plant, and equipment go up. Now we're at over 3 million. And that's, they continue to invest in the lab, and then also the, R2, R3, next generation units. So yeah, you're going to have property, plant, and equipment go up. And then, of course, they don't have any debt on the balance sheet. Let's go to the income statement. On the income statement, you can see for the year, they had 337,000 of revenues. Of course, these are not those juicy licensing revenues yet. These are testing revenues. And no surprise here that there's loss from operations of, more than 7 million. Again, no surprise. This is right now, it's more about building the asset, right? But let's break down the revenue a little bit, how it shows up, from quarter to quarter. So this is how the revenue shows up. So these quarters, August here, November, February, these are the four quarters that represent the year. So again, they are in a fiscal year, not calendar year. So in the last quarter, over 100,000 of revenues. The quarter prior to this, also over 100,000, and then the second quarter was 73,000. The first quarter was 58,000. And then prior year, they only generated revenue in the last two quarters. So 51 here, 58 here, and there was no revenues in the first two quarters of the prior year. This is the table of the warrants outstanding. So there's going to be more money coming in from these warrants, because as you can see, they expire February 2025, April 2025, April 2025. Now, this is as of the date of this report. So that would be the May 31st, right? Yeah, that's what it says. The May 31st. So some of these have already been exercised, as they said. I'm not going to do the math exactly how, but the bottom line is that there's going to be more money coming in from these warrants, more money coming in from the uplisting in the United States, because when you do an IPO in the US, it's always with a capital raise, and in the filing of F1, it was up to 6 million that they're going to raise. So as I said, in total, between all the warrants, all the private placements, what they have in the bank, they're going to have about 14 million of cash. So that will take them a long way to build the next generation unit. Let's go to the press release and see if we can read more from this. So Aduro Clean Technologies has filed and audited financial statements for the year ended May 31st, 2024, and has provided following highlights. All financial is reported in Canadian dollars. And also, these financials, I'm sure they're needed to provide to the Securities and Exchange Commission, the newest financials, for the uplisting in the United States. So I suspect that after they provided these financials, now we're going to be getting closer and closer to trading in the U.S. Ofer Weikas, CEO of Aduro, remarked, in 2024, the company is focusing on execution, making sure we continue to make progress on our key goals. We have achieved many of the milestones that we have set forth at the beginning of the year, and will continue to deliver value by driving innovation and expanding on these recent successes. Now, Mina, the CFO, for the full year 2024, we continue to improve our revenues and cash. The company is in a healthy financial position as we look beyond 24 with optimism, backed by a strong pipeline of customer and stakeholder engagement and the additional talent we have added to our team over the last year. So then they talk about the revenues that I already talked about, highlights again the revenue, property, plant, and equipment went up. I talked about that. I talked about the position, the cash position, and then the private placement and warrants. And then here we have some corporate highlights and subsequent events. They filed a new patent application. You saw that in the recent press release. Entered into a collaboration with Total Energies. This was a biggie, right? Provided update on next generation process. So that's the former name was the R3. So let's have a look. Following the successful completion of a series of tests and work done over the first half of the calendar year 2024, the company announced that it is now conducting semi-industrial scale experiments to finalize reactor configurations. These experiments are crucial for determining the necessary configuration for the NGP. Aduro aims to complete the design of the NGP by the end of 2024. Initial engagement with design, engineering, and fabrication firms have begun. So this is a big deal because when they have their next generation unit, they will be generating revenues. They will have their own unit, right? And whether it is semi-commercial or commercial, the difference is just adding reactors, okay? But they're going two ways, right? Being independent, having their own revenue, their own recycling facility, and then going after clients that they can get for licensing. So this is a very smart move because if these guys on the licensing side take forever, right? Well, okay, we're going to have our own revenue. We're going to have our own units. So think of it as I said before, it's like a franchise model. You want to have your own restaurant that's successful before you franchise that model to others, right? That's kind of like how I see it. But again, they're working at the same time, right? So the licensing might happen before their own unit is finished. Then they provided results on testing for cross-linked polymers, provided an update on Western University research project. Then they showed us how their technology works in terms of yield, right? They have welcomed multinational building materials company into customer engagement program. There was a press release about this. So now they have 6 multi-billion-dollar companies in their customer engagement program. And then they welcomed a food packaging company into the program. We don't know the name of it. They appointed a chief revenue officer, right? Eric Appelman. You saw interviews with him. So I encourage you to read the entire management discussion there's some good things here besides this. So this is outside of the press release. You can find this on Cedar. And, you know, there's operations, progress, and outlook. So a lot of it is going to be repeated here. But I like this section here. Where they talked about, you know, what is the customer engagement program? What are the steps? Well, the technology evaluation, this is when you get somebody testing the technology, you provide them with data. So they have 6 multi-billion-dollar companies in this, right? Then you have the collaboration, which now we have a Total Energies, huge player, a collaborator. We don't have a commercial players yet, right? Customers will commit to commercial projects pursuant to definitive agreements. So anyway, I encourage you to read this, read the press release. That's it for this video.